reading it will definitely make you learn things about psychosis, and that was really important for me because even now it's still a not a very well-known condition, and it's very misunderstood, and it's more stigmatized than other mental health conditions. So yeah, it was important to raise awareness. I wanted the book to be as varied as possible, and not just me telling the story, but like little break bits that were kind of like separate from the story, like in the form of lists, like the podcast list. And for
Mm.
example, now I told myself like a while ago I wasn't going to sign up to any more big runs, but then a few of my friends from football are doing a half marathon in May, and I'm signed up to that. So
Well done.
I need to start increasing my distance for that.
Welcome back to another episode of the Inside the Orange podcast. And this week we are joined by another guest, the amazing James Lindsay, who you may have heard on the podcast in previous series. We will be talking to James about his book, Befriending My Brain, amongst lots of other things to do with the Inside the Orange segments and James's work recently. Before that, though, here is how you can get in touch with the podcast and support us so that more and more people can hear this series of the Inside the Orange podcast. At the Inside the Orange podcast, we're about creating positive change through organisation, reading, activity, nutrition, gratitude, and engagement. And you can follow us on YouTube, Instagram at Inside the Orange, on X at Orange Watts, and the Inside the Orange podcast on Facebook. We want you to reach out and help build the community. We are also delighted to announce, and if you have seen our social media, you know we're going to be doing this. It is this year's fundraiser. We are going to be doing a brand new event, our longest challenge ever on a single day, and I'm going to bring you some information about that right now. We are back and on the road again. This year we are doing our 40 for 40. We are walking 40 miles for the Anna Kennedy Online Autism Charity, raising awareness, acceptance and promoting inclusion of autism and autistic people. We are going to be going out on the 19th of July for our longest walk ever, and you can join us and support us via our GoFundMe page, available in the show notes and description. Check it out and support us today, and let's make 2025 an amazing year supporting this great charity. So into today's episode then, and the interview with James Lindsay. James opens up about his book, and it was fantastic to talk to him again 3 years after our initial meeting on the podcast. Here's how the conversation went. So I am delighted to be joined again today by someone who has been on the podcast before, and he's come back somewhat of an author. So I am thrilled today to be joined by award-winning mental health author who is currently doing work for social media for Action for Children. Delighted to have him back and talking about his amazing book, Befriending My Brain. James Lindsay, welcome back to the Inside the Orange podcast.
Thanks so much for having me again, and thanks for that lovely introduction as well.
No, absolutely brilliant. And it's always nice. And something I did, I reached out to some people that really I enjoyed the conversation for when we first started and said, can we come back and do the relaunch? And I wanted to talk to people that, yeah, that I'd spoke to before, but with some that had kind of moved on since we'd last spoken. So it's 3 years since we last spoke, would you believe? Or 3 years plus.
Wow, it doesn't feel like that long at all. I think,
Not at all. No,
well,
it's incredible. And again, you return not only 3 years down the line, but you return now an author as well. So Befriending My Brain, a book I absolutely could not stop turning the pages for. Tell us about Befriending My Brain, and tell us what the response you've had from it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's crazy to think it's almost 2 years now since it actually came out, March 2023. And yeah, I was a bit scared like initially when what the reaction was going to be. Because you have that like opinion that it might be good, but you're like biased and you're not sure. But then when the reviews started coming in, that feels really good. And even now, like 2 years down the line, when a new review or a comment comes through about it, it really makes my day. And it just justifies all the hard work that went into it, and hopefully it's helping people with psychosis and other mental illnesses, which is what the whole point of it was, what it was intended to do. So, yeah, it's just really nice to be able to sort of make a mark on society and just be able to leave something behind, like a real sort of like effort, because I can't like go around helping people kind of like myself because it's not what I do, but it's something that's out there that people can read and hopefully get something from. So yeah, it's been a really good 2 years. Thank you.
No, no, and again, it was, and I'll be honest, James, looking at it from the outside, psychosis is not something that I was too familiar with, in all honesty. But what I did, I took kind of comparisons. I suffered from depression and mental health, and the childhood you were talking about growing up as a child, and a lot of the similarities that I kind of felt growing up as well about the mental health challenges, that fitting in and not quite knowing your place in a way, and not again, I want people to go out and read the book, so I'm not going to give too much away for it, but you were very honest, very open from kind of start to finish, from childhood all the way through. And is it out there to help people to understand psychosis more, or is it the range of mental health? Is it fair for me to say that I could kind of lean into bits that I felt through my depression? Is that fair?
Yeah. It's kind of like it's meant to tick a lot of boxes, to be fair. So yeah, reading it will definitely make you learn things about psychosis, and that was really important for me because even now it's still a not a very well-known condition, and it's very misunderstood, and it's more stigmatized than other mental health conditions. So yeah, it was important to raise awareness. But yeah, I talk about my anxiety as a teenager. I've also suffered from a bit of depression. So yeah, there's a lot in it that's relatable, and also maybe that's not as relatable, but you like learn a bit more about a condition you might not know as much about. So yeah, it was really important to get all those things out there so people can pick it up and like gain a lot from it, really.
And again, I take a lot from it, or gain a lot from it, absolutely. And again, it's about understanding it. And I really applaud how you wrote as well. It's your story, but what you've done is you've gone and spoke to people who were around you when, some things for yourself. Again, apologies if I'm putting too much on the spot about some of these points, but you were having to get people's opinions of what
Mm.
that situation on. You've got kind of GP notes, you've got sectioning notes in there. There's a lot of kind of you've kind of used research outside to kind of tell your story a little bit. Is that fair?
Yeah, it sort of serves multiple purposes. So when you go through something like psychosis, I was so sleep deprived that my memories of when I was the most unwell are very hazy to say the least. So I was talking to people as I was writing it, like to try and fill in the gaps, and then it kind of hit me like maybe I should actually put other perspectives in the book, like from a reader's perspective, it might help. So it's not just me going on like the whole book. It's just like you got like the doctor's notes in there, so you've got like professional inputs, and then you've got like my wife and my mum and one of my best friends as well. So yeah, I just wanted to make it as fascinating to read as possible. But also those people were really helpful in filling the blanks, and they came back and voiced themselves as well for the audiobook, which was nice.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So, and yeah, I wanted to get that didn't come out initially, but it came out a few months later. I had to get it all recorded with the help of a friend. But yeah, I wanted it to be as accessible as possible because I know a lot of people can't read, and also a lot of people prefer audiobooks. So yeah, just getting it in all the formats to make sure as many people can read it and get help from it, really.
Yeah, and I suppose one of the values we do this year is reading, and why we want to talk to authors who've got, who can share lots of stories. But it is important to remember as well, we've kind of done reading with a little asterisk to say that actually, if you find audiobook easier, to go and do
Mm.
that, because you're right, we shouldn't just be shutting it off to say, do you know what? Oh, it's all book related. You can get the knowledge from books from a number of different ways, and absolutely, some people prefer listening to the story. And I suppose hearing it from your perspective, and then your family and your wife and everyone's perspective, that must be quite I'm really intrigued. I might even actually go and listen to it as well, because that must be really nice to hear it from those opinions and that emotion.
Yeah, yeah, I think it helps as well to have different voices. So like if you're listening to it and suddenly it changes voices, it kind of grabs your attention a bit more.
Mm.
Uh, so yeah, and I wanted it to be authentic with like people voicing themselves. There's some that aren't themselves. There's like I couldn't get the doctors to do it. I got my friend to do that voice, and then one of my best mates who lives 3 hours up north. But rather than get him down, I just got my brother to sort of play him.
Okay.
So only people who know me will know that some of the voices aren't correct. But yeah, my wife voiced herself, and so did my mum. So yeah, it was really nice when it got out there to get it all put together and to put it out there.
Thank you. And again, thank you for giving us a glimpse behind the scenes as well. I think it's
Yeah.
always important to see that. So it's good. I mentioned values of the podcast. I think there's one I really have to stand by, and that was the word gratitude. And it was about this year. And one of the most amazing things for me to do was when I got towards the end of the book, you actually talk about our first conversation. And I'm so grateful for that, because at the time we had the conversation and I didn't feel it was gonna be in the book, but it was lovely. But what I also enjoyed from the book from that was you were giving people things to go and listen to. So music, you were giving them podcasts, you were giving them, things like your exercise to kind of go and do. How important was it that it wasn't just a story, but here's how some things can help?
Yeah, again, multiple purposes. I wanted the book to be as varied as possible and not just me telling the story, but like little break bits that were kind of like separate from the story, like in the form of lists, like the podcast list, and for
Mm,
example. But also that kind of makes it, I don't know if multi-genre is the right word, but like the main genre is memoir, but it also kind of makes it a bit of a self-help book because I'm giving my lived experience, but also I'm saying like these are podcasts that help me, music that helped me, and books that have helped me. So yeah, there's lots to take away from it. So that by the time you get to the end, um, you've got something, but also I guess you can refer back to it as well. It's like a list that you can keep. So yeah, it was really good to kind of get the book to serve like multiple purposes and to help people in different ways, basically.
And I think I took that from the book as well. I really enjoyed the fact that it was, and again, even the fact of thinking which podcasts I'd listened to or what books I might have read. Okay, yeah, and again, the music. I think music's a fantastic. It can be a fantastic thing to use, can it? A medium of many outlets, good, bad, emotion, feelings. We've all got songs that we go to, haven't we? So it was really good. And I suppose there's been a lot in it as well, which I really liked. Again, the story it tells it, and obviously as we get through, there are some relapses. There's some times where obviously it
Mm.
becomes challenging, but you kind of focus a lot of the words on things that are helping as well. Things like Park Run, things like the Man On scheme. Are you still part of the Man On scheme? And I know, and I'm hopefully everyone doesn't mind me sharing this. You've reached a milestone for Park Run as well, haven't you? So tell us a little bit about those if you can.
Yeah, the hoodie actually arrived today in the post, the Hundreds Park Run hoodie, and yeah, I'm looking forward to wearing that when I do the run this coming Saturday. And yeah, I literally was doing Man On today, so it happens every Wednesday evening. So I was there earlier, and yeah, it's an absolute godsend for me. I go to it like whether I'm doing well or not, and it's nice having it same time every week, so and same format, so I know exactly what I'm getting. And if I'm having a good week or a stressful week, I can just go on the pitch, run around, and forget about everything. And I always feel better by the end of it. And the guys who go are very supportive, so we all help each other out, in person. And we've also got a WhatsApp group. So if someone's struggling, we can all chip in and help. And the coaches that run it are mental health first aiders as well. So yeah, they helped me a lot when I was relapsing. Actually, they were really helpful. Like gave me some extra support and said to my wife and mum, like if you need anything out from us, like they gave her my sorry her their mobile and stuff. So yeah, they really went the extra mile for me. So I'm always happy to sing their praises. And yeah, park run is just again like it's the same thing every Saturday, but it's just I prefer it to running on my own. Like it's just hundreds of people, really feel good, friendly, welcoming community. Um, and my local park run is walking distance from where I live. So me and my wife walk to the park and then she prefers not to take part, which is completely fair enough. But and then we have a coffee in the park cafe afterwards, and it's just a nice like weekend routine that we've started doing. And I like that it's on Saturday morning, so it's like, a strong start to the weekend. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, that's a great point as well. And again, so is Man on every Wednesday? I mean, we're recording this on a Wednesday. Is it every Wednesday that is? Yeah. So
Yeah, I think since last time we spoke, they've expanded it. So there's also a session on a Monday evening as well, which is really good to see it like growing in numbers.
mm.
But yeah, it's like a kickabout, and also there's a chance to sit down inside as a group, like in a circle, and we go around and just kind of say how our week's been. And there's no obligation. Like if you don't want to talk, like if you want to skip talking and just listen, that's fine as well. Um, so people tell us about like their good weeks, their struggles, the bad weeks. So it's a really like safe space and really important like that there's groups like that for like men to just feel safe and open up to each other.
Yeah, and it is important. And could I just again, obviously, I don't want you to share anything that is personal and private to people, but has it been easy with the Man On thing for people to share? I mean, obviously, it's encouraged to be open, and you've got the mental health first aiders there. It's great. So people that don't really know, is it a case that you can turn up and not speak about it? And is there and there's days you can turn up and explain a lot or talk about a lot? How does that work? If you don't mind sharing a bit again.
No, it's fine. So we sit down like in a circle, and the coach kind of explains before it all starts like how it works to a newcomer. And as I said, like there's no pressure to contribute. Like you can literally just say, I'm fine. Like I'm don't want to trying to think the best way to say it. Like just be skips basically, and no one minds at all.
Hmm.
Which I think is common for like the newcomers, just as a way of observing, sort of seeing what it's about first before they decide to fully take part. So yeah, there's no pressure at all to talk, but at the same time, it's sort of encouraged because talking is the sort of way to feeling better, in my case anyway.
No, absolutely. I think, as I say, I've always enjoyed the conversation and that's important. And I think what makes you a very valuable guest for us and linked to what we're doing now, we've already talked about gratitude, we've talked about reading, we've talked about activity. So again, you fit the bill. That talking in that group is engagement, talking to other people. And the other
Mm.
one we've also got is that structure and organization. You said that park run, that morning that you have with your wife, the coffee afterwards, it's that
Mm.
organization that sets your weekend up right. Just explain to us how important is that? Because I'm a massive believer in that as well. Get your thing started on a Saturday, and you can almost have twice the weekend if you got that structure. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I'm a creature of habit, and as most of us are, and I also like being spontaneous, but I like having the routine. Like I work full time Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and my weekends are my own. And yeah, I think it's good to kind of have that as a foundation to work around, and do different things outside of that. But yeah, for me personally, I do. not do I don't like doing the same thing all the time, but I like the sort of familiarity
Mm.
and things like that. Yeah.
It's interesting because me and my wife, we both joined Slimming World. Obviously, something for me to get in shape. It was really important. And it actually took us back when my oldest son was playing football on a Saturday morning. We used to get up at 10:30 and it would kind of do it. And make it just start our weekend. But then when we found that he stopped playing football, we were staying in bed till about 11:30. And it does lower your mood, doesn't it? I'm going to say 11:30. Might have even sometimes been later, depending on the Friday night. But it does change that mood of actually getting up and doing, doesn't it? If you're getting up earlier, do you feel there's any length in that? Any service in that?
Yeah, I think especially since I've like hit my 30s, I really value my early morning activities rather than staying out late. I still have the occasional late night if I'm seeing some friends for a drink or things like that. But yeah, another thing I started a couple of years ago was outdoor swimming, and on a that's always in the morning. Usually it's a morning slot. You have to do it, so you have to get up. Um, you have to set an alarm and make sure you're there on time and stuff. But yeah, that and park run in the morning, they just make it such a good day, and the day's only just begun. Um, and yeah, I go to bed quite early, quite often, but it kind of balances it out for me because I get up quite early and I make the most of every day, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. And I think we can all look back when we're younger and we think that what's the point of going but to bed at 9 o'clock? If I get a 9 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock bedtime, I'm loving it. It is like, yes, I've won. I've won now at this age. And if only I could tell my 18-year-old self that that would happen to me as well, that'd be really interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But also with the park runs, what we haven't talked about, and again, for people that might have missed it, you've got your 100th park run, so you've got your 100th park run hoodie. How far does this go for? Is this in your diary indefinitely until you cannot do it anymore? Is that where you feel with park run? Is there a target for what you want to hit?
Um, I think I'll do it most Saturdays, but I'm not like set on doing it every single Saturday of the year. Like got a couple of trips planned and also I ended up signing up. I told myself like a while ago I wasn't going to sign up to any more big runs, but then a few of my friends from football are doing a half marathon in May. And I'm signed up to that. So
Well done.
I need to start increasing my distance for that in a month or so. So I don't know whether I'll do that on Saturday mornings in Parkrun's place or if I'll do a longer run during the week. I don't know, but yeah, I think I started doing parkrun in 2018, um, and so to get to 100 in 8 years, it includes the whole lockdown
Yeah.
business where yeah, park run just wasn't allowed to happen for like a year or more.
Mm.
Uh, so yeah, I'm 34 and a half now, so maybe at some point in my 40s it will be like going around getting to the 200 kind of mark. I don't know, but I don't really set a goal like a strict goal for it. I just kind of think it will happen when it happens.
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely. But as I say, it's good. Well, look, a massive well done to get to 100. I mean, that's immense. To take you back to 2018, if someone would have said you're on run 100, would you believe them at that point after that first one? Would you have gone, yeah, I could do that?
Probably not. But then even the one I go to, I see a few people wearing like 250 tops, and I just think like, or 500 tops, and I just can't believe it. So yeah, I would love to follow in their footsteps, but we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's good to what you're saying. I want to do it, but I'm not going to commit. There's things I want to do as well. So I want it to be there. And as I say, it's fantastic that you can kind of put that. But yeah, never say never. We look forward to seeing the collection of hoodies get more and more up that number of what it is. And yeah, it's fantastic. But no, and as I said, it's important. Again, it's that structure, and like you said, starting that weekend off right. Again, getting ready to do bigger events, half marathons, things like that. You've marathon run though, haven't you? You have done the,
Yeah,
the, the big one in London, haven't you?
yeah, I think that wasn't long um, before we spoke the first time. But yeah, it was 2021 I did that. and yeah, that was a really nice experience. But I don't plan to do any more because the training for it was just brutal, and the actual run was brutal as well. Um, so I think now that I've done that, like that's like my peak in terms of the distance. But I still enjoy the short park runs.
Yeah, brilliant. And you did join us for the final mile. I remember of the Leicester to Watford walk that
Oh
happened
yeah.
a couple of years ago when we walked in with Luther. And yes, I do remember you being there. So I know, you even in the walking, you're no stranger to endurance challenges. So I still give everyone who joined at any point with that to say, yep, you were with us. You can wear it. You can say you've done all 80 odd miles. It's fine. But yeah. I mean, it's been amazing to kind of see that, and I think, as I said, the book, again, that's the beauty of what you've written in the book, is that experience and that time. It's lovely as well. And I also thought, what I found fascinating in the book, you've seen a lot of the world as well. You've been around, you've done a lot of traveling. Can I ask, if you don't mind, how a lot of your travels were kind of bookended, or maybe even during some times where they were challenges for you with what you were going through?
Mm.
How have you got fond memories of the traveling? Do you still look back and think that was cool, or was it hard to see it in kind of where you were going and where you were in life?
Yeah, mostly fond memories. I think so I remember when my trying to get the years right now. So I went traveling South America in 2019, and by the time that came around, I was stable. Um, but I was very anxious about traveling because of what had happened, and I was in a part of my life where I was getting very overly anxious about everything,
Mm,
and I got comfort from the fact that there was a group of six of us, six of my friends, five of my friends from uni and me. Um, so I felt safe with them,
mm,
and I was enjoying it. And then there was like a point in the trip where I was not getting much sleep and suffering a bit. And I remember calling home, and mum was saying like if I wanted to come home, she would pay for a flight, which was really nice of her to say. And it was like a little point in the trip where I was thinking, shall I or shan't I? And I ended up saying I'll stay one more night and see how I feel the next morning.
mm.
And fortunately, that night I had like the best sleep of the trip, so I felt like reinvigorated, and then ended up staying for the rest of the trip. And it worked out. But yeah, I think those trips were really good for my confidence because part of me before thought like, oh, you've been through mental illness, maybe traveling isn't for you. So then to come back, it kind of gives you that sense of independence and confidence for more. And I've done a couple of solo trips as well, and one was in 2018 and one was last year actually. And so I wouldn't have been able to do those solo trips without kind of going through that experience of struggling a bit when I was abroad and like getting through it. Um, but yeah, I think it kind of made me realize as well that traveling with the right people, if you're going to go with people, like you want to be with the right people who, you're going to support each other. And fortunately, I have that with the friends that I go traveling with. So yeah, I'm very fortunate.
No, absolutely. And I think, the book, again, it brings you into kind of up to date. I think, you mentioned that you met your now wife, Holly, at the time. And what I kind of wanted to know was, obviously it does end, but obviously it ends as of your age of where you were. Is
Yeah.
there anything planned to take the story forward? I mean, as I say, is there any ideas where can you kind of carry on with the story? Is there any kind of plans for next direction?
So I started working on something, was it 2 or 3 years ago now? I started writing poems,
Hmm.
and I've kept them like in a Word document, and I think I'm up to 70, 80 something, and I want to when I get to 100, I would like to try and get it published like as a book. And I've started reaching out to publishers and agents, and I haven't had any success yet. It's really hard to kind of get that response. But in the in this book, it's kind of the way I've written it is there's the poems one after the other, but there's also like I write kind of an intro bit for some of them. So I
Mm,
kind of explain, well, the background and the context behind the poem, and it kind of drip feeds a bit of my personal life as well. Um, so that's kind of like something I'd like to get out there at some point, like a second book. So it wouldn't be connected to the first book apart from being written by the same author. But yeah, it was quite hard to let go actually with the first book because when the whole publishing agreement was made, there had to be like a cut-off point. Um, and I was sort of thinking, where's the right part to end the story? And also like the lists that are in the book with the recommendations, I was
mm.
sort of adding one to it, like, and then thinking of another one, and oh yeah, I can add that in the book. And but then there was like a cut-off point, and like since the book's come out, I've discovered other things like, oh, that would have been nice to include. So yeah, little things like that like are quite amusing. But yeah, there is like an end to the story of the first book, but I think where I ended it was quite good because it was like I was in quite a good place in my life. So it felt right to end it on a sort of positive and reflective note, which is why towards the end of the book I did that kind of letter to my past self as well, just to kind of so that when you get to the end you kind of get a sense of where I was and then where I am now and hopefully where I would like to be and things like that.
And I mean, yeah, that letter was fantastic. And again, what I did like about the book was obviously you do talk very seriously, but then you do put some light-hearted, even some of the phrases you're using to yourself. It's amazing. I think, and it's incredible to do. I think it's a fantastic thing to do to write to your younger self because if you can say to that person, look where we are now, or look where, and again. I know, as I say, you don't want to have the challenges that you do have in your life, but you almost in them said, "It's fine. We will get through this. You will, you get to me." With again self-deprecating a little bit about how we might age and what we might not, in terms of maybe hair loss or things like that. That was lovely. That was so sweet that you put that in there. That to myself. But did you find that hard to write, or was it keep it humor but keep it real? And was it written immediately, or did it take some time?
Um, it took a long time. Yeah, it took years, in fact. I kind of started it, then left it for a bit, and then dipped in and out. But it was nice because it was like there wasn't really a deadline, and I kind of could write whenever I felt like it. And because I was writing about quite traumatic times in my life, it was I had to be careful not to spend too much time in a single day,
Mm.
like covering that subject. Um, but then at the same time, when I was writing it, I was kind of aware that I didn't want it to be too serious and bleak, and I wanted to inject humor where possible because um, I'm the sort of person that I love to laugh. I love to watch comedies and read funny things, and I think humor is also a good source of comfort with mental illness as well. Like if you can laugh at yourself, it really helps. So yeah, all those things I wanted to include in the book and kind of make it the right balance of tackling a serious subject, but sometimes like when I can being a bit more light-hearted and throwing in like a bit of a joke and making fun of myself and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, normally to your own expense. Again, apologies. I did give a bit of a spoiler away about things you did put in there. But yes, it was lovely self-deprecating. But I think what you got really right with it, James, is the balance. The humor didn't come in interjected in a time that you needed to be serious, but at the end of the day, it might have just took a little bit as it kind of helped you caveat or move away from a point, but after you'd made the point, rather than trying to think, is this the time to be funny? So you really got, for me, I think you really got the humor right. And again, it made it really nice to read. And it made me realize I was reading a book by a human being at the end of the day. And you're right, having that humor, it was so important to see those little moments that, even I was chuckling to myself on the train and you feel with the subject of the book, you feel, and again, actually, no, it never felt, oh, should I be laughing? Because it's clear when the humor kind of comes in as well. You've really played that really well. I think it was fantastic, and yeah, it was. Again, it made it such an enjoyable read. Um, I'm normally such a slow reader, but for that one, I literally could just wanted to know what was happening next, and the stories that you just told, and what you went through. Obviously, we've met. We've probably only met in person once or twice, if that. The rest of the time it has been screened, but we've kind of always kept in touch through the social media platforms that we do use. And again, I've really wanted to reach out to you for this and to really talk it. Your work wise though, you're now social media for Action for Children. Change, obviously, you've been working through different charities over the years, but um, anything you can tell us about the change, why you went to and social media, doing that for them must be really exciting. But tell us about that.
Yeah, I love it. I worked for a mental health charity for 3 years and I loved it, but it kind of ran its course and there wasn't like any opportunity for progression, which is common with small charities. So it felt like the right time to move on. It was very bittersweet, very sad, but yeah, the new job is amazing, like a really good team. It was a bit of a adjustment. I think I underestimated how different it would be because they're such a large national charity compared to the size of places I've worked before. And yeah, they kind of do things differently to what I was used to before, but I've now gotten past that phase of like getting used to it all and learning things and like getting to know people. And yeah, it's just a really lovely cause. A lot of the things that we post on social media like really make me smile, like the children and young people that we post about. There's some really heartwarming stuff. And it's a privilege actually to post about some of the things they're trying to achieve as well, like in terms of like getting the government to fund the social care and fostering side of things and to make sure that more children have safe and happy childhoods. So it's really fulfilling. So yeah, it's I can't praise it enough. It's a great place to work.
Yeah, and to be honest, again, a bit of a spoiler, and again, well, not spoiler, but something that is important. The company I work for in the daytime, I know I'm like Batman. By day, I'm something else, and by night, I'm a podcaster. But Lifetime Training, my employer now, we are partnered with you guys, and we were asked to pick a charity partner, and we were given kind of a bio of every single one and what the kind of plan and action was for pardon the pun for Action for Children, and it was almost there was a lot of votes for Action for Children. It was fantastic we could now partner with them, and I think even we tried to do some kind of Secret Santa thing for Christmas to try and support children that getting presents and the price of whatever you could get. And yeah, it's been really nice, and we've seen a lot of stuff from them. For us, so it's really nice. And when I saw your Action for Children as well, I was like, "Oh, great! I know them. I've seen them in my work day as well." So yeah, it's brilliant and must be really fulfilling and enjoying the social media aspect.
Yeah, very much. Sorry, I wasn't aware that your work fundraised for us, so we'll have to talk about that like off the podcast, find out more. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
um, yeah, I'd always so the previous three roles I did before coming here was like marketing jobs. So social media was like a small part of what I did anyway, but it was like always my favorite part of it. So to be able to specialize in it has been really enjoyable and yeah, we've got quite a lot of followers, which is really nice. People like leave lovely comments and messages on our posts, and it's nice to kind of always be thinking of new ideas. It's a job where you kind of get to use your creativity in terms of like making videos and writing the posts and stuff. So yeah, you sort of like have a lot of fun with it as well. So I'm really into that. So yeah, definitely in the right kind of role.
That's brilliant. And we will, yes, say in the show notes and description, we'll put a link through so people can find out more about Action for Children as well. Again, something would be good to do. And we also need to explain, and there will be in the show notes and description, how people can get onto Amazon and get your amazing book, either through the Kindle process, the audiobook process, or through the good old fashioned. I'm going to show people on Spotify don't know what I'm doing right now, but
Yeah.
even showing it on the screen,
You're
that we do.
like the perfect testimonial for the book. Like this episode's been, if people want to find out more about the book, they should ask you because you've been saying the best things. Thank
Oh,
you.
bless you. But no, as I said, James, I'd start with an apology that it took me so long to read it. And again, it was always something going to be on my book list. And as I say, you've always been so kind to me and helped me when I was doing the podcast. And, to be, to be honored to be even in the book as well. That was not known when I found it on the page. I was like, wait a minute, this is the inside the orange is in this book. It's incredible. But no, as I say, it was again. And do you know what? Actually, I'll say something that's probably a little bit strange to say, but the fact that we don't really know each other socially, obviously we've seen each other at Watford, and we promised today because of what's going on football wise, we tried to stay away from Watford. We've seen each other only a couple of times, but actually, I've read the book and it just felt like I knew you, and that's what a book should feel like. That actually I went, wow, this, yes, I see it and I hear it. Um,
Yeah.
and yes, as I say, we are again. If people did miss the first episode that we were in, which is available, I might even put that in the show notes and description. There's going to be so much in the show notes and description, James. They're going to have time to listen to the episode because there's so much they're going to go and find. But we did talk about Watford in it. We're both, for our sins, are Watford supporters. We're not going to go too much in it, but how much do you still enjoy going to the games and seeing the people and the action on the pitch, shall we say?
I've always got the enthusiasm. So like if I've got a ticket for an upcoming match, I still get really excited by it, no matter what our form is.
Absolutely.
Because I think the whole like experience before the match, like maybe meeting people before for food or drink, and then walking to the stadium and soaking up the atmosphere and seeing the players warm up and seeing it in action in person, and then I still I might feel really deflated if we've lost, but it doesn't like stop me from wanting. I'm still addicted to it,
Mm.
and I can't help it. And yeah, as much as this season is frustrating, I'm sort of going to echo what I heard on like I listened to a Watford fan podcast, and they keep saying at the start of the season we expected we'd be in a relegation battle, and we've been like in and around the playoffs instead. So it's all about the context and you know how much worse it could be, and how well we're doing with very little resources and backing from the owners. So yeah, the Tom's doing an amazing job, and I hope he stays for a long time. And I know that doesn't happen with our managers; it's like a revolving door. But yeah, I it would really hurt if he went, and I just hope we can kind of like pick up a bit of form again and sort of this has been like our sort of middle part of the season. Is this like our dip? So I hope we can have another like kind of upsurge in form and sort of finish strong. But yeah, I'll always support them whether they're doing rubbish or not. So
Absolutely. And again, we have to remember that's championship football, and again, you could even look up the Premier League. There's some teams up there now that are lower than they want to be. And we know sometimes it's football, but I know obviously it has been quite frustrating with what's been going on. But again, I echo that, I can go to the game. I think the last game I went to was Portsmouth on Boxing Day, and it still has got the ability to absolutely just take me back years it just feels like home as soon as I sit there, as soon as I'm in the stand, even the drive to the stadium or the train, whatever it happens, once I get to that point, and that's what that is all about, isn't it? That's that kind of feeling of home almost. Look, okay, you can have owners, you can go through different periods, but it's being somewhere that you just feel I love it here. I think
yeah,
that's yeah.
I think that might be the last time we won at home. So you must be a good luck charm. So you'll have to go as much as possible.
Absolutely. The time before that was Blackburn. We won. So maybe it's me. Maybe that's the problem. I
Yeah.
need to go more. Sorry, guys. I've just worked it out. But yes, I'll definitely try and give it a go. And if it does, I'll let you know when I'm at the next game. And if we do win that one, then I will staple myself to the chair of Moffat. So that is absolutely fine for the rest of the season. So can we just ask people, ask you to tell people where they can find you and catch up with everything that you're doing and keep in touch? Because I'm sure they'll want to know more and reach out to you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm on all the social media channels as James Lindsay, and yeah, as you've said, the book is easy to find. So it's called Befriending My Brain, the psychosis story, and it's on Amazon in paperback or ebook, Kindle format, or audiobook format. If you can put on my voice for 4 hours, then fair play to you. It was yeah, long took a long time to record that. And yeah, it's nice it's finally out there anyway. Yeah, I'm always happy to if people need help with anything mental health related, who message me, I'm happy to do the best I can to help. I'm not a clinical mental health professional, but I'm someone who's had my own lived experience, so I like to try and help people when I can.
That's brilliant. And again, absolutely right. Again, it's fantastic you can share your experiences. If someone you feel or someone's family member is struggling, what would you say would be the first thing you would ask them to do? If from experience, again, you're not a GP clinician, but what would be the first thing if you are worried to suggest?
Yeah, I mean, I learned the hard way not to keep it to myself, to bottle it up and to try and be this like independent, strong man, in inverted commas, to try and, you know, beat it myself, if that makes sense. And as soon as I started asking for help and talking and looking for support, that's when things started to improve. So yeah, talk to your friends, family, GP, mental health charity. Yeah, there's lots of support out there if you know where to get it. So lots of organizations like Mind, Samaritans, things like that. Definitely worth reaching out to.
Absolutely. And again, we'll add that to the show note and description. As I said, we want to make sure people have got the support. And again, there's going to be a lot of information in there, but if someone is struggling and doesn't know where to go, we can put that in there as well to help. But amazing. We are going to be covering, I want to be, well, we're launching, sorry, let's try and get that right first time next time, Richard. We are trying to launch a book club where we are talking about different books, and we are going to be looking at Befriending My Brain. I think we might even have a bit of time where we go through and talk about it. If we do, are you happy to come back and have a little chat about it? If we do kind of work out some way to kind of walk through, and if we can, to just talk you through the experience, if you don't mind, James, sorry, putting you on the spot, but is that okay?
I would love nothing more than to do that. I don't think it's been in a book club yet. So yeah, that would be a really cool experience for me, and I'd yeah, absolutely love it. Thank you for the offer.
No, absolutely. So to make that happen, if you do read the book, if you have read the book or you plan to read the book, let us know what you feel that, tell us what you felt of the book and we will share it. We'll talk about it and we'll cover it. And again, we want people to share this so we can show what James has done and the support that he's done through the pages of the book to help more people receive the understanding that they need or the support they may need even from that. So James, thank you so much for coming back to spend the time with us. It is always a pleasure, and again, I'm sure when you come back to talk about it, it's going to be even sooner than 3 years that we'll be talking again on the podcast. But thank you so much for your time today.
You're welcome. Thanks again for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for listening to the episode today. As ever, if you have missed anything, as you're aware, you can check it out on the Inside the Orange podcast playlist. Massive, massive thank you to James for sharing his story again with us today. On next week's episode, we have got another interview. We are going to be joined by Jay Coker, who is a chartered management apprentice, and we're going to be talking about quite a lot of things with Jay. We look forward to bringing you that episode then. Until then, as ever, guys, thank you so much for listening. On the way out, you will be able to hear how you can get in touch and support the podcast as ever. But as always, as we close, goodbye and take care. At the Inside the Orange podcast, we're about creating positive change through organisation, reading, activity, nutrition, gratitude, and engagement. And you can follow us on YouTube, Instagram at Inside the Orange, on X at Orange Watts, and the Inside the Orange podcast on Facebook. We want you to reach out and help build the community. We are back and on the road again. This year we are doing our 40 for 40. We are walking 40 miles for the Anna Kennedy Online Autism Charity, raising awareness, acceptance and promoting inclusion of autism and autistic people. We are going to be going out on the 19th of July for our longest walk ever, and you can join us and support us via our GoFundMe page, available in the show notes and description. Check it out and support us today, and let's make 2025 an amazing year supporting this great charity.